Hello, welcome back to another simulation session with HFX. So today we're going to be doing some back testing on GDP JPY. So on my other screen, I've just typed in some dates. Going to be doing between 2019 and 2020. So just press go, and let me just drag this over. Right, so we've got some dates. Awesome. So let's stick with 2019. Let's go with let's go yeah, all right, let's go with the 21st of the 21st of August 2019. That makes sense. We'll do sorry, not August, July. Sorry, 21st of July 2019. So new sim, GDP JPY, let's do 5,000. And we want July and the 21st. So we're looking at from the start of the week, 5,000, and do 1 to 500 leverage, 150 days back. Awesome. Start that up. Let's pull up our charts now. So we're going to do the weekly time frame. So we're going to start adding the weekly time frame in, daily. Four hour, one hour, and the 30-minute. Right, let's go ahead, open these up. Awesome. So let's sort out the templates. Yeah, finally put that up on the templates list, so it just made it a lot easier to switch over. Cool. So let's just remove this here, and let's start off with the weekly time frame. So is it not going to let us? Okay, it's not going to let us. Nope. See if this works. Yeah, no, it won't let me pull back. Okay, it's fine. So looking on the weekly time frame, looks like weekly broke out of this support area that we have. Obviously, I can't look left on the weekly time frame, but we'll assess it on the daily, which will be perfectly fine. Really looking to scalp anyway, so. So yeah, weekly broke out of this area. Looks like it's forming a resistance at this area and starting to trend bearish. At the same time, we sort of have this resistance up over here. So this is our previous range that we was in for the weekly time frame. So we're going to need to obviously chop down to the daily now so we can get a bit more information on what's going on. So right, okay, daily's the same. All right, probably need to do more days back. That's fine. That's fine. We can we can go with that. So daily has created a support, right? So daily's created a support at around 134, 190, and at the same time, I think this was the previous support that we had on the weekly time frame that we broke out of. So essentially, what we're looking at is if we can maybe come back up to this area and form a resistance, or maybe we're going to start breaking lower and head further down. Obviously, I don't have the information to look at that, but that's fine. We're looking to scalp. as I say anyway. So yeah, in terms of the daily time frame, I think that's all we really need to focus on, is these key price levels. So let's go down to the 4 hour now, and let's see what's going on. So 4 hour has a resistance up over here, right? So we had this support and we broke down, counters broke down, and price came back up, so created a low, came back up, and now we're forming a resistance. So on the 4 hour time frame, I would say there's a very high probability that we're maybe going to come down and retest this low. But at the same time, we're approaching this 4 hour support, right? This is our most recent 4 hour support. So we're in this range here on the 4 hour, right? So we've got like a 40 pip range on the 4 hour. So if the 4 hour breaks down, then we have our clean move coming down to retest that low. Okay, so that's one thing we're going to keep an eye on. If the 4 hour can come up and close above this area, then there's a very high chance we're going to come up and retest this resistance that we have, because we have this clean move coming down, right? So we've got, on the 4 hour, we've got clean candles coming down from this area. So essentially, if price can get back above this area, we should see the same thing occurring. Let's go down to the 1 hour now. In fact, let's copy these over to the 1 hour at this point. We're just going to adjust our zones as we go. So awesome. So yeah, so this is the support that we had over here at this area, and then price came up and up to this resistance. So that makes sense. So if we break above this area on the 1 hour, then we have this clean candle coming up to this next resistance. So we're gonna drag this over now, because this is our key price level, right? And at the same time, we're approaching this support, right? We're approaching this support area that we had down over here on the 1 hour, and then we can see prices kind of wicking into this area and rejecting it. So essentially, what we're seeing on the 1 hour now is we're seeing candles tap into this price area and close in above this level. So essentially, we would want to see this level be respected for a potential continuation up as in a scalp's perspective, or at the same time, we would want to see potentially maybe candles start closing bearish, and we can look to take a trade back down to support. But we need to wait for confirmations. So what I'm going to do is, we also have this minor. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of a minor resistance. This is our minor resistance. This is the resistance that we had before the weekend. So essentially, we want to see price break out of this zone here, right? Because then we have this clean candle coming up to the next resistance area. Okay, so let's copy these over to the 30-minute finally, and then we can adjust from there. Yeah, so looking at the 30-minute, this is like our most recent resistance up over here, and yeah, let me just scale to fix. Yeah, cool. So yeah, looking on the 30-minute, we have this support down over here. I'm going to leave that as it is, because it's a lot cleaner price action on the 1 hour, as you can see, right? A lot cleaner price action. So I'm happy with that. 30-minute, we can maybe say that this is obviously our most recent support, but we've got all this traffic here to the left. So I don't see any sell position. The only way I see a sell is if we can get a close. So let's just bring this down like this, because this is what I see, right? So we had support here, and yeah, let me do it like this. So here's how you can start mapping out. So this is what you got to tell yourself. So we got to tell that the story was we had resistance, and we broke out of this area, and we formed a support of this area. We had price coming to wick down, and we had price form support again. Now what happened was this candle broke down below this area, but was immediately reversed and faked out. So I see this as support. This was not support. This was just a fake out. So essentially, we're going to write that as misinformation. We're just going to see that as misinformation. We were misguided. So we can ignore this. So what we're looking at is if price can break below this support, then on the 30-minute, we have this clean move coming down to the next support around 134, around 134, 300, 310, all right? So we're looking at like a 20 pip range. And for buys, I'm seeing, yeah, like a 25 pip range. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start the simulation. Oh, wow. So it's obviously a Sunday. And as we can see, price has already gapped down into this range. So this is the open price. So price has already gapped down. So we're going to need to just wait and see how the candle forms up, closes. Wow, that's quite a crazy. Yeah. But we're gonna write Sundays off anyway because it's not the best day to trade. But yeah, we'll see what happens here for analysis perspective. But I was not expecting that big of a gap. Check the news. Yeah, so we haven't really got any news, which is good. No news. So yeah, so price gap down, but now we've closed back in this range. So I see at this point, the only way we could take a trade, yeah, is maybe if we get a close above this area here still, or potentially still below this support, because I think this candle, this gap down just got corrected. So we'll just see what happens here. Yeah, so candles now closed above this area. So at this point, what we'll be looking at is taking a buy on the retest with a stop below the previous bullish candle, because we're expecting price to continue moving bullish at this point. So I suppose we could take a small risk buy on the Sunday, maybe like 1%. Oh yeah, not our usual risk of 2%. And we're going to have our stop below the previous candle. So around 10 pips, and we'll have our take profit up over here. So let's pull our trade up, mark it down over here, and watch it play out. Ooh, nasty pullback. Damn. But we're still going to wait for this candle to close, which is fine. Oh, nice. Candle flip bullish now. Yeah, see, if this candle closes bullish, then we could potentially add a position as the next candle if it starts to create a new low. But at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the stop loss to below the next bullish candle. So we're reducing our risk here now. So yeah, maybe if we come a little bit lower, we can get a second entry, but we'll see. Yeah, so we could add another small position, but I'm going to add maybe like 0.25%. Oh, not that much. So we want 2.5. So oh, there we go. So just a small position. Just going to add a small position here. So we're going to take another buy, and we've got like, yeah, we'll put stops below previous candle and TP up over here. I know it's a Sunday, but we are getting the confirmations for a potential continuation bullish here. If we go to the 1 hour real quick, yeah, 1 hour C closed above everything. So yeah, let's see what happens. So if this candle does start coming up, closing bullish, I'm gonna bring our stops, tighten our stop loss up as well. But if this candle closes bearish, then I will close one of the positions and let the rest. Nice. So we're pushing here. Cool. So I think at this point, we're going to reduce our risk. So we're going to bring our stops maybe below this area now. Really reduce that risk, tighten that risk. Cool. So candle closed bullish at this point. So we should see the next one continue moving up and respect the low of the previous. So at this point, essentially, if the candle comes down and breaks the low over here, I think I'm just going to exit the trade. Do not want to be in this trade. And especially if, say, the bigger position, the 1%, comes back down to my entry, I'm just going to close at break even. Not going to want to take a loss to start the week. So now that we got candle in profit, we don't want to have a reverse in trade. So let's nice. So we can secure. We're going to secure one position at 10 pips, and let's just let the 0.5% run at break even. Cool. So runner, the 0.5% got stopped out. That's fine. But ultimately, structure was there. We saw price respecting the previous lows. So here's the thing. Here's how we can break down this trade. This was resistance. Candle closed and broke above this resistance, right? Then at this point, you're expecting the next candle to respect the low of the previous candle, and do a retest and continue moving bullish and close bullish, which it did. So once candle closed bullish, and we've got now 1-2 wicks into this area and closing above, you can expect the next candle to continue moving bullish, which we saw. Probably what's going to happen at this point is price is probably going to come back down, form a support, and continue moving up. But by that time, we're not going to want to be, we're not going to take any more trades. So we're going to take our 1%, and we're going to carry on, continue with our week. So we can just see how this plays out now. Maybe we'll continue pushing up here, but we're not sure at this point. So let's see how the candle closes. Yeah, so candle closed bullish. So I think at this point, price should just continue moving up. So I think it was unfortunate to get stopped out there at break even, but we're not going to want to take a loss, and it was only a small position anyway. Yeah, wow, nice. So price continuing moving bullish here. Awesome. So did come down and break the low. Probably going to fall back down to this resistance area. But yeah, nice trade. Very nice trade. So we'll call that a 1% win. Good start to the week. No over risking. Definitely not over trading. Not going to take any more entries. So at this point, we can just, yeah. So this is what we were trying to catch. It just wasn't as clean. So it's not always gonna be as clean as you want it, but essentially we should see an imitation because this is what we saw coming down and this is what we saw coming up. So it's not going to be as clean as a whistle, but it imitated in effect anyway. So that's what we're going to focus on. The fact of just trying to catch these moves. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. Just catch these. Oh, wow, price is still pushing here. Mad. Cool. So let's go ahead and skip now to pre-New York. Oh, wow. Cool. So we're at the pre-New York. We're at pre-New York now. Oh, we need to go back one more. Cool. So we're at pre-New York. Let's go back to the weekly. So weekly has made a top wick at this point. So if weekly is going to continue bearish, it's probably going to fill the previous weekly wick, right? Because, you know, we've got this bearish momentum. It's now created a top wick. So we should come down and fill this wick at around 133, 860, 870. Looking on the daily time frame, it looks like we're creating a resistance here at this level to potentially continue moving down. 4 hour, yeah, see 4 hours closing below this level now. So we may want to expect price to continue to the next 4 hour support area. 1 hour, 1 hour is see 1 hour is closing below. This was this area that we've been talking about. So 1 hour is closing below this level, and it looks like it's trying to form a resistance here. And at the same time, it also looks like we are respecting this area as well. So what we're looking at here now is if we can break below this hourly support, then we've obviously got clean candles coming down to the next area, which is, yeah, not a big enough range, only like 10 pips. But the better range would be once price breaks below this area, the support at 134, 350, because then we have a nice clean candle coming down to 133, 900, which is like a 40 pip range. So that's definitely going to be a much better trade idea. But let's go down to the 30-minute. Yeah, so 30-minute, there's definitely range for a sell opportunity, potentially, because essentially what we're saying is because price is respecting this level now, right? This is our resistance. So this is our most recent resistance, and this is our most recent support. But we are closing below this key price level. So essentially, we're gonna try and want to look for sells, definitely. There's no buys right now. There is no buy opportunity right now. The only buy you could look for is a break above this resistance to maybe take it back up, but I don't see that happening. Higher time frame looks bearish. Everything looks bearish to me. So we're going to want to wait. At the same time, we obviously have this support here now. So this is our most recent support. So if we break below the support, 13 pips on the 30-minute. Maybe we could take a trade in this area, but the much better trade would be down to this next area. Okay, because you have this clean candle. So let's go ahead and start this now. But essentially, we're just waiting over here. So it's a Monday. So we're going to do a little bit more risk than the Sunday, but less than our usual. So we'll do maybe like 1.5%. Wow. Candle's breaking up over here. Do we have any news? Oh. No, not really. $25th. No, so that's in a couple of days. We've got Boris Johnson speaks. No, so nothing really too concerning. But we have got this 30-minute candle closing in a few seconds here. So we're going to want to wait to see this close. Cool. So essentially now, let's check this out. So let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour is still open. So, I mean, thing is, technically we can remove this now because this range here has been eradicated, right? So if we look, this range is crap. Okay, this range is awful. And now we're seeing price created this clean move. So this is something I see a lot. Okay, this is something I do see a lot. And essentially, because this range is crap, if we're going to respect this area, then we should continue moving up. So what I would like to see to take a buy is I would like to see a retest, a deeper retest on the 30-minute, because then if I get a deeper retest, I can get a better stop loss, maybe back in this range. Because if I take a buy up over here, the 1 hour hasn't closed yet. So if we get a 1 hour pullback, I don't want to be in any drawdown. So I'm going to wait here. If I miss this move, then we missed the move. But let's see here. I would like to see price come down and at least come to maybe this area here, and we can start looking for a buy and maybe have our stop. Let's say like middle of the range down over here, if we can get it. If not, we'll have to just let these buys go because I don't trust this 30-minute. Could at least wait for the 1 hour to close also. So candle's got like 3 minutes left. So I think at this point, we'll just wait for this candle to close. Cool. So candle closed bearish. So we can't take a buy yet. We can't take a buy yet because we have a candle closing against us. So let's check the 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour did close above this area now. 4 hour, see, 4 hours still open, creating a top wick. So we're just going to focus on the 30-minute and the 1 hour now. I see potentially, if we can create a support here, then there's a very high chance we should continue moving bullish. Otherwise, I'm going to wait to see if we can form a support. Yeah, I want to see a candle close in our direction now. And especially want to make sure we're respecting this price area. So a few minutes left for this candle to close. Well, a few seconds actually. Cool. So candle closed bullish now. So at this point, now, the probability of the next 30-minute continuing bullish is going to be a lot higher than the probability of price continuing bearish. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to maybe try and get an entry around this area and try and get our stop below the previous bullish candle. That's what I'm going to try and do. But I want to see price make a bit more of a pullback. Oh, we're just going to run without me. Yeah, I want to see price come a little bit further back for my liking. Awesome. So I'm going to take a buy here now because I'm expecting that this candle should continue moving bullish, because essentially this 30-minute could just be making the bottom wick to continue moving up. So that's what I'm going to do. Awesome. But of course, if this candle closes bearish, we will close 50% of the position. Nice. Pushing up here now, 6, 7 pips, 9 pips. Awesome. So we can secure here at like practically 10 pips now. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and close everything, to be honest. There's no reason to, hold any trades here. So no, nice. Perfect. Played out well. Let's see how this candle, how this candle goes. Still pushing up over here. Awesome. So this candle closed strong bullish. Wow, like 10 pip, 11 pip candle. So I think this whole move down should get corrected. yeah, I see price continuing bullish at this point. But yeah, I'm not gonna re-enter any more trades, but we'll see. Sit and watch what happens. So candle flipping bullish now, or was. Yeah, so let's just go ahead, skip, see what happens. Yeah, so candle closed bearish. So price has made a high at this point again. So the only way it's going to continue moving up is if we start forming a support again. Otherwise, it may fall back down to this area, especially as the higher time frames. 4 hour may start closing below this area. So that's something you have to be aware of. Why the buys may not play out long term. Obviously, we were just looking for the scalp and the confirmation that the smaller time frames was given us. So, oh wow. Yeah, let's just go ahead, skip now. Wow, so we ended up just ranging here the rest of the session, but yeah, caught those buys, so that was pretty good. So let's pause it there. Let's get it to pre-Asian session. So cool. So we're at the pre-Asian session now. So essentially, higher time frame. So weekly still creating that top wick. So we're not going to focus too much on that. Daily is closing bearish. So essentially, there's a much higher chance for the next daily candle continue moving bearish. 4 hour did look like it's done a fake out to the upside. So that's interesting. We need to keep an eye on that. But let's remove some of this. So yeah, so 4 hour is a little bit iffy right now. 1 hour, 1 hour did a fake out as well, because we had, this was our area. This was our support, and this candle closed below, but then the next hourly closed back in the range. So I see now, based on the hourly time frame, that we have clean candles coming up to this next area up over here, around like 134,780, that sort of area. So we're looking at like 15, 13 pips. Yeah, that's what I see for buys. I'm not sure about any sells yet. Let's go down to the 30-minute. Yeah, so it looks like this move down on the 30-minute was a fake out. Let's look at it more like this. Makes sense, makes sense. So it looks like it kind of reacted to where we faked out last time. But essentially now on the 30-minute, we're approaching this resistance level. And if we break above on the 30-minute, then yes, we have these clean move coming up to, let's say 134,770. It's like 10, 12 pips away. And then obviously if we break above that, then we've got clean traffic coming up to 134,970. Ooh. So yeah, that's one thing to keep an eye on. So yeah, so let's go ahead and start the Asian session. And for the sales, sorry, I see that if we do close back below this area, then I'd say we're going to ignore this support, because this was like the fake out, and we should fall down to the next support, 134,450. 40. That's what I see. So let's go ahead and start that. So what I'm doing is, as we're doing the taking the trades, I've got a like back testing journal, so I just write down what happened, if win, loss, all that type of thing. So I'm doing that throughout the simulation. So candle closed under resistance. There's no buy confirmations yet. Still ranging here. Kind of broke the low of the previous 30-minute candle. So looks like we should fall to the next support area. May just get a ranging Asian session. Damn, pushing down there. No confirmations for any sells at this point. Gonna wait for this candle to close. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so look, this is why you need to wait for candles to close, because we're just ranging very hard right now. Wow, so we came all the way back down to this area, wicked into this area, and now we're going bullish. Amazing. Yeah, wow, that's gone. Oh. Yeah, the only way you could have caught these buys was an impulse entry, maybe above this area here. But even then, Asian session, that's going to be very difficult because we have this wick here to the left, and you see price got all the way up to this area, right? Price got all the way up to here and rejected and closed back in the range. So you're really playing with fire when you're trying to take an impulse entry when we have rejection wicks. So when we have a wick like this, essentially anywhere in this price range you can see. So if we just ignore this candle for a minute, right? If we look left, right, every time we tapped into this price, we pulled away from it. So this is where you see a rejection zone. So this is our rejection zone. Same way we have a rejection zone to the downside. So when we're seeing a rejection zone both ways, you need to understand that you need to sit on your hands because you're going to get played. You could take sells in this area and get chewed up. You can take buys in this area and still get chewed up. So no good to take a trade in these areas. The only way I think you could take a buy is if we get a retest. But I mean, even then, hourly still hasn't closed, so it would be pretty risky. So I think we most likely missed these buys opportunity at this point. So yeah, we're gonna let this one go, but it's nice to see targets analysis play out. Damn, I wish Asian could move this nice again. Asian has been awful recently. Wow, yep. So came up and tapped into that area. Didn't get a deep enough retest there. But let's say you did enter in on the bottom wick. Yeah, you could have caught 9 pips, but I would find that very difficult to take a trade. So yeah, then we're gonna have to let that one go. So I'm just gonna write down here. So that would be the 23rd, the Asian session. So how we can summarize the Asian session was there was no trade. So price came and hit our target. But there was no confirmation for buys at this point because there was no retest. We did see a bottom wick, but there was no retest. Candle closed way too high within the range. There wasn't enough range to take the trade, so it became very difficult. So price came up to our target. Had no confirmations for any buys. And yeah, we let this move go essentially. Looks like we've done a fake out over here later on in the session. Should fall back down to support now. Yeah, if we respect this level, it should fall back down to support. But yeah, that was a good Asian session. Would have sat on our hands, but that's fine. Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to New York session. Pre-New York session. Cool. So coming into pre-New York. So we saw price came down during, I think it was, yeah, so London Open. We saw price come down and obviously retested support that we were talking about, which is nice. Actually came further and tapped into this next area that we had targeted out, which is also nice. And now we're seeing price come back up and close in this range. So yeah, so let's start afresh, looking at all the time frames. Weekly, same sort of thing. Daily time frame. Daily did close bearish. So now we're gonna need to see. I mean, essentially, daily is still consolidating, right? Daily is still consolidating because daily is not trending, right? Because daily candles are printing side by side. So when daily candles are printing side by side, it becomes very hard to trade because look, you can even see, right? We can even analyze this on the daily perspective. And you can see 1, 2 times price wicked up above this daily range. So from here and close back in. Similarly with the downside, 1, 2, 3 times. Okay. So in terms of using proper risk, the probability is always going to be less because we don't have a trend. We're not trending on the higher time frames, so it's going to be a lot harder. I mean, if you look at the 4 hour now, price action is pretty bad. So it looks like we're respecting this level here now, which is fine. So I'm going to adjust the 4 hour to this area like this because what I'm seeing here is we're respecting this support, but at the same time, we're respecting this area as well. So 4 hour is literally printing side by side. So again, with the 4 hour, we're seeing the same thing. You're seeing price wick up into these areas, and we're seeing price wick down into these areas, but we're just consolidating. So it gets very hard to take a trade at this point. But the move will come, because you look on the 4 hour coming down below that support. We have this clean move coming down. So we will be waiting on that. Same way we have that clean move coming up to this area. But we're going to keep an eye on that. 1 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. Let's do some fresh analysis on the 1 hour. That can stay because we're at this support here now. And we still have this area too, but I'm going to adjust this to, yeah, someone like this. Cool. So on the 1 hour, we also have this resistance up over here, right? We have this resistance on the 1 hour. And if we break up on the 1 hour, then we have clean candles coming up to the next resistance area around 135 flat. Yeah, 135 flat. So that'll be a nice buy opportunity. But essentially this, see, here's where you can start recognizing patterns. See, this range here from the Asian session was just crap, right? And now what we've seen, we see pre-London or the London Open push us down, right? And create this clean traffic. So now we're starting to see potentially, I say potentially because it doesn't happen every time, but we're now potentially starting to see this clean move maybe coming back up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as a trade idea. But let's go down to 30-minute finally. And let's assess what's going on. So I want some fresh zones here. So come to the 30-minute chart, and what do we see? We see that we have this support down over here. So we have this clean move coming up from this resistance, right? So this is our most recent resistance. Okay. But at the same time, we're now creating a support, right? So here's the thing. If we break above this resistance, then we are coming up to 134,770, right? We have that clean move coming up. But if we don't hold this support and we start breaking down, then this clean move should get corrected, and there should be a continuation to the downside. So we're looking at maybe 12 pips. So the 30 minutes, not great in terms of price action. 1 hour is quite a big range as well. So we're definitely going to need to wait. So we're just going to sit on our hands for the minute, and we're just going to see what happens. So it's starting to break up over here. So yeah, it looks like this clean move down is getting corrected. So we do see this happen quite a lot. Wow, candle's pushing up here. So we've got a few minutes for this candle left to close. And finally, we can use normal risk too, because it's midweek. Candle's about to close here. So candle closed bullish, right? So candle did close bullish, and we're closing above this resistance. Now, here's the thing. The only reason I'm not inclined to take a buy on this occasion is because look at the stop loss. It's like 10 pips, but this candle's quite big, and I want to make sure that that my stop is gonna be sufficient. So let's check out the 1 hour. Yeah, so I think the better play would be wait for buys above this hourly zone, because then we have a much better range to play with. Because at that point, then we have this clean move coming up for like 25 pips. So if we mark that out on the 30-minute, that will be coming up to, yeah, this sort of price area here. So we'll go with that. So that's going to be the much better range play. So you could take buys because we've broken above this minor resistance with the anticipation that we're going to continue moving up to this area here, which is like 10 pips. So maybe just because, for an example's sake, we'll take this trade, but we'll use less risk. So let's use 0.5%. And yeah, we'll give it a try of 0.5%. And what we'll do is we'll put our stop maybe middle of the range, because it shouldn't come all the way back into this area. We should just continue moving bullish, fill the wick, and come up to this area. So we're going to take a small buy with stop loss, around this sort of area here, and TP up over there. So let's see how this plays out. Oh, nice. So we're already coming into some profits. Awesome. Nice. So at this point, we can bring our stop loss. Yeah, we can just go break even. And I think we can just secure. Yeah, we'll just let it hopefully hit our TP. Wicked. So TP hit 8 pips. That's fine. I wanted to use less risk because of the stop loss. But I think we're going to have another opportunity potentially if this candle can come up and break this area, which would be really nice. That'd be really nice buys. But I'm happy with that. Didn't want to force this with a full risk trade because we are still playing the range. But essentially, this is what I saw and it played out. So very nice. So now we're just going to wait for this candle to close here. Oh, wow. Imagine if I held. Oh. Pardon me. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. Ooh. Oh, damn. Yeah, no confirmations whatsoever. Wow. Yeah, wow. Looks like we missed that one. Gladly, I took the small position down over here, but looks like it was going to give us no room whatsoever to take a buy. But that's just how it goes. That's fine. Yeah, pretty much that's just how it goes. So yeah, that's cool. Let's skip now, see what happens here. Ooh. Oh, so this move up got corrected as well. So maybe, yeah. So maybe now we're going to start coming bearish higher time frame, but we'll see. We will see. But that whole move got corrected. In fact, that was a full-on fake out. That was a huge fake out. Because look, this candle came all the way up, tapped into the next area, closed bullish, but the next one tapped into this area and then closed back in the range. So at that point, it was definitely a high chance that price was going to come down and fall to support. This looked like a massive grab to me. This is a liquidity grab, 100%. This is the grab to continue pushing further down. That's what I see on GJ. Cool. So just writing down now, talking about, so we took 8 pips for the GJ buys with smaller risk. So we had smaller risk of 0.5%, as there was no definitive stop loss. Cool. So I think at this point we should call it a day for the New York session, and let's skip now to the next Asian session. One more. Awesome. So once again, let's check out the daily. So daily looks like it's trying to close like a weak bullish candle. Obviously daily's got like, oh, I think it's just closed. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's pretty sure it's just closed. So daily's closing weak bullish, 4 hour still in that range, man. 4 hour actually done a fake out to the upside, which was that massive fake out on the hourly. So if you look, candle closed above, this candle closed straight back in the range. So 4 hour is still ranging here. So taking a trade, yeah, I don't see us getting a trade in the Asian session. I mean, look at this range here on the hourly. This range on the hourly is just a mess. Absolute mess. 30 minutes, even worse. 30-minute is just, oh, yeah. Yeah, 30 minutes pretty bad. The only, yeah, there's no range to take a trade here in the Asian session. The only thing I would say is just for like learning purposes, if this support holds, then of course the chances are price should continue moving bullish to 134.720. So if this support area holds here, then the chances are we will continue moving up. Otherwise, there's just no range. So we'll call this Asian session a definite no trading session. I don't see how, unless we can get a bearish close like this, and then we can start looking at, now we have a smaller range, and then we can maybe potentially look for buys up to 134.720. But right now, oh yeah, so we did get that. Okay, we could potentially grab a trade, but we're going to definitely use less risk because this is ranging pretty hard. So yeah, let's see what happens here. But that's the only trade I see. Yeah, so candle closed bullish, couldn't close above these candles to the left. So no trade yet. Yeah, see candles now coming back in the range, just ranging here. Cool. So candle now closed back at support. So it looks like we are literally just ranging hard. This is how you can tell if we're ranging. If you can draw a box and it's going sideways, it's ranging. Okay. So you do not, you do not want to be forcing a trade in this area. I can tell you now. Yeah. So candle close, weak bullish. I see this happen a lot. So this is one thing I would say. I'm not going to try it. I'm 100% not going to try it because I don't want to risk any of the profits that we've made. But one thing I see that happens a lot is when we have a big bearish candle like this. So there's definitely some bearish momentum in the market, right? Well, not momentum, but there's bearish volume, because I know we're ranging, but if you look at all the candles, this candle closed strong bearish, and then the next candle closed weak bullish, right? So I would only give this maybe one opportunity. If this was the New York session, I would probably take this. But if the candle comes down and breaks the low over here after creating some form of top wick, there's a very high chance that it should continue moving bearish down to this next support. But that's what's called obviously an impulse entry. And what you're doing is you're anticipating that once this low is broken, that price will continue moving bearish. If it doesn't, and price breaks the low and comes back in the range and closes in the range, then your idea is invalid. So at that point, you'd have to take the loss and wait for a close. But ultimately, there's no range for a close. So that's the only trade idea I see, but I'm not going to take it. Just going to watch it, see what happens. Yeah, so say you did take the impulse entry now, you'd have your stop above this area, but this is obviously, not guaranteed to work. Same time right now, it looks like it's coming back up in the range. So this is where you don't want to get caught out in the impulse entries. But this candle did actually kind of close, yeah, ever so slightly below this area. Still no trade for me. But essentially, it did break the low, so the sell could work. Sell could work. I think if it respects this area, then it's coming down. It's definitely coming down to the support if it can respect this area as resistance. So candle closed like a weak bullish, kind of broke the low. So yeah, this should be the candle. If it's going to come down, this will be the candle. Otherwise, potentially could just range. Okay, candle closed bearish. So at this point, we should see price continuing down now. But yeah, so say you did take that impulse entry, right? So you say, what would you have done? So I'll tell you what you would have done. So your stop would have been up in the middle of the range over here, right? Let's just stop the clock. So, okay, so price did fall down to that support. I didn't like the sells, not big enough range. So it's like, yeah, not big enough range for me, but cool. Anyway, how would we have managed this trade? Well, once candle broke the low over here, you're expecting price to continue moving bearish, right? So once this candle closed bearish, had it have closed above this area, you would be looking to close positions, because at that point your sell is invalid. But the fact that this candle closed under this support, I would have potentially held this sell with my stop above the previous candle. So I'd tighten this up and I'd say, as long as price respects the high of the previous candle, we should continue bearish. So what do you do? So the next candle closes bullish, still respecting that area. I tell you what I would do is I would take 50% off the position at that point, because now you have a candle closing against you, and you would have had like a minus pip loss on the 50%, but your other 50%, when you leave running, would have continued down. You would have made back the small loss and went into profit. And what you would have looked to have done is, as this trade started playing out and the next candle closed bearish, you'd now be looking to bring your stop above this area. So now you're even reducing the risk even more, letting it play out to the next support, okay? So that's one thing I would look at. But yeah, so we're going to call that Asian session no trade. So a no trade session. Not enough range, definitely, for any trades. Cool. Awesome. So candle closed bullish, but yeah, we're going to call it a session there with the Asian session. So I think we'll do one more. Let's go to the New York. Wow. Oh, damn. I think this was the news. If I'm pretty sure this was the news. Or is it not? Yeah, I think it is. So it's 10:30. No, it's not the news. GDP is tomorrow. Okay, is there any... Was it this? It's low. Low news, and it was pretty much as expected. So I don't see that. I don't see that pushing price. So yeah, not sure about that. Let's go to the daily time frame. Wow, so daily is pushing bullish over here. So yeah, so we need to wait now, see what happens. Let's look on the 4 hour. Wow, 4 hour just broke out with no confirmation. So 4 hour has got above a lot of things. So if 4 hour does continue moving bullish, then I think it should push all the way up to 135, 750, which is like, oh wow, another 50 pips away. So if we look on the 1 hour, yeah, so 1 hour is getting above this area here to the left. So yeah, 1 hour's got clean traffic. It does have this problem area here potentially that we may come up to. So we're gonna make a note of that. And we need to adjust this. So if we just look left. Awesome. Cool. So this is what I see now. So I think it looks like the probability is in our favor for price to continue moving bullish. Let's say to 135, 490. Looks like a good target. I mean, hourly's definitely got some clean traffic. It looks like we're maybe reacting to this wick here to the left. And if we go down to the 30-minute now, so 30-minute came up and formed a support at this area, right? This was this resistance. We faked out. So 4 hour did form a support. So if you were looking for buys coming into, after the London Open, essentially your buy opportunity would have been once this candle closed bullish, because then you're expecting the next candle to continue moving up. So let's look left now on the 30-minute, sort of see what we're coming up against. So yeah, so 30 minutes sort of reacting to this resistance that we have up over here. So once we break through this resistance on the 30-minute, now we have some more clean traffic coming left to the next resistance. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that, see what happens there. Let's drag these two. along. So we've got our, yeah, so it looks like kind of literally came up to this area and closed right at it. Cool, so drag this one and this one. Awesome, so gets a little bit trickier because now we're at this next resistance. So when we look left, we're coming up to this next problematic area, right? So we're at this resistance and we're going to need to wait for a break above this area 100% for a continuation. Otherwise, maybe this move up is going to get corrected because there's nothing fundamentally that's pushed price up 80 pips right now. But of course we need to wait and see. So let's wait and see what happens here with this next candle, because we can't buy right now because we're buying at the high. So we don't want to get stuck in any drawdown if price comes back down to form a support. So we need to wait. So there's two things we're going to wait. We're either going to wait for a support to be formed, maybe down at this area here, to take it back up, or we're going to look to take a buy above this area here. Okay. So we can speed this up a little bit over here. The candle closed bearish, so our resistance has now been formed. So we're going to want to see a support formed, or if it can continue moving bearish and form a support at this area here potentially. Cool. So next candle closed bearish. So if we get a support formed here, then the probability of us continuing moving up is going to be a lot higher than the probability of us continuing down. So we're going to keep that in mind. But we need to wait for this candle to close. Cool. So candle closed like a bearish candle. So, I mean, we literally saw the same thing happen today on GJ, right? So price formed a support in the pre-London and it continued moving bullish from there. So I saw that this move up did get corrected, right? It did get corrected. And what we saw was that price should fall to this next support if it's going to get corrected, because now we're seeing candles close bearish. But I'm not going to take that trade. I'm going to wait, see if we can form a support here. I know I didn't take that particular trade today live, but there's a very high chance we should come down to the next support now. But I don't mind watching, because I'd rather see this happen a few more times. And then I'm like, okay, now I've got to capitalize on that, because I see this happen a lot. So I don't mind witnessing this a few times to look to take a trade. So yeah, I'm going to wait and see. But it kind of makes sense, because there was nothing fundamentally that pushed price up that far. So yeah, looks like we are coming down now. Looks like we will fall to the next support, maybe correct that move. So yeah, this is something I will keep an eye on for future, 100%. So I'm going to make a note of that in the back testing. Yeah. So candle close bullish, kind of respecting this area, but at the same time, I think a good impulse entry could be once the low is broken of the previous bullish candle to continue down to support. That could be I'm not going to take it, but it's something that I've seen work before. Yeah, like what we're doing now. So candle close below. Ooh. Yeah, price is going a bit wild here. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a no trading session by the looks of it. But we'll make a note of how we could have potentially caught that move. So yeah, done the exact same thing today. In fact, it will come up and tap into this area, create a massive top wick, and then should fall back down to this next support. Literally the same thing happened today. Literally, it looks almost identical. I've got it up on my other chart. Yeah, so I think we'll call that session no trading session. So candle close bullish now, but I mean, yeah, I don't see any buys. Yeah, I don't see any trades right now. I think it's just gonna range here, and I think we'll just call it a session. See what happens here. Yeah, so it looks like I did just range for the rest of the day. No point trying to force a trade at this point. This was the move. So I think the move was that some of this price was going to get corrected. So that's why we saw price fall down. So that's definitely something we'll make a note of and look to improve on in the future. But yeah. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a simulation there. Sort of get the gist for what I'm trying to do. So I'll I'll probably do another simulation again over the weekend. And yeah, so it was a good session. So we've done 4%, which is not bad. Better than your bank will give you for the year. So that's a positive. But we did use a lot of less risk on trades, and it's still, the week's not over, but just for time purposes, I'm gonna call it a simulation there, which is fine. So yeah, so I'll still do some more simulation sessions. I'll still be back testing. I may even just continue with this particular date for the next simulation. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to this particular sim. So yeah, but yeah, that was pretty good. I got all my back testing notes. So that's something I would recommend, is when you're back testing, you do want to be focusing on actually what's going on, because when you come to the lives, you're constantly looking at, the next candle done this and the next candle done that. So you want to be looking at that same thing with the simulation, just so you can constantly practice reading candles, constantly practice analyzing and predicting where the next candle is going to go. etc., etc. So yeah, awesome. Good simulation session. Thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna post this one up on my YouTube as well. I know I haven't posted on YouTube for a while. It's a good vid, so I'm gonna put this one up on YouTube. So yeah, I'll see you guys for the next simulation session.